So I've been having these this is for Hollywood. I've been having these temporary paralysis dreams. And I had a temporary paralysis dream, which is an astral projection. It was like Christmas Carol. So in my mind, guys, the reason why I've been like so like, you know, is because all these dreams are coming in and I'm like, God wants me to share them. You know, he wants me to share them because they could turn into books or they could turn into ideas. But anytime it's an astral projection, it's going to be like Yeshua. This was inspired by God. This is the God of the universe. You could listen to him. You don't have to listen to him, but like, this is like, I was supposed to make a certain amount of money, so now God is inspiring me with these dreams. That's kind of like what's going on, like as an artist and stuff. I didn't have an idea. Here's 5 that are worth $1 billion, like Harry Potter. So in this dream last night I had, this is what the God of the universe wanted me to share, just like I told you about Fiona Barone when I was, I'd rather stay here, you know. And I know you want to be with somebody else. So this is a similar one. This is 3 parts. So this is something where I'm in the astral world, and it's like Inception. So not saying I was in Inception, but I'm really smart, and let's just say I was in Inception. And in this reality, you have 3 different decisions of mine. So this is a what-if scenario dream. So in my mind, I kind of like create this environment where it's like the first time you meet somebody. And I simulate a regular girl that you would see. Dirty blonde, looks like Ellen Page in the face. You know, pretty like Ellen Page. Not like super pretty, but like Shakira in the face, pretty, but not that much. Kind of like Ellen Page, but she's dirty blonde. She's like 5'3", and she's walking out to her car in a dress. Not in like, she didn't look like a hoe. And I basically come out of the gymnasium, and she runs out to, I guess, to get her keys or something. She goes to the Jeep or whatever, and she comes back, and I basically do a what if scenario. So I want to see what would happen. I simulate it. This is basically an approach thing where you go up to a girl and you smoothly look her straight in the face, and as you're talking with her, you grab let's just say it's not her waist, but it's her backside with your hand, gently, and you talk to her and you ask her for her number. Now, in this simulation with me, I was in great shape. I was clean, everything, nothing bad. But the point is, when I did that, she smiled like euphoric, smiling at me. And then she basically said, do you want to come back to my car? So the point is, she stayed. It was her decision to stay, is the point that I'm saying. And when I say it surprised me in this simulation, it surprised me because I didn't need to have jewelry. I didn't need to have a fancy car. I didn't need to like have a rich parent. Like, I didn't have to. It was just, that's how I approached her, and I was gentle with it, you know, and it worked. Now you can correct your kids, do the right thing, but that was one astral dream, and it looked real, and it was more graphic than that. But the point is like afterwards it was more descriptive, but it doesn't make a difference. The next one is something that I really want Elon Musk to pay attention to, because I have a right to ask this question. If the white spikes really happen. Now this is something that I wanted to see. I want to see how I reacted. I want to see my logic in it. So I said, if there's a whole bunch of white spikes and I'm in like a 5-foot building or an 8-foot building, and I'm like in the building, in like an elevator shaft, and I'm watching them come in, and remember, the white spikes are fast. So they're coming in really fast. What do you do? Now, he'll be like, this is stupid, Isaiah. Why do you say both these things? I want you to know these are real scenarios that I could quantify and look at. And I want you to see how I broke it down. So in my mind, I'm an alpha male, right? So you have like only a couple options. You can run in that hallway when they get here, waiting for them to come, or you can basically square up and go Ryan Garcia. Now, the thing about this is the simulation I had, it was in third person. It wasn't like me in it. It was like I saw it. And when the white spikes come in, they look like dogs. They weren't like big like the movie, but they're like kind of like wolves. But they look just like them, and they can do the same thing. And so when they came in here, I did like an alpha male like kind of thing, like use my fist and bang the wall, like make noise, like, woo! Like really loud, like showing you're dominant, right? And fearless. And they stopped for a second, like almost like, whoa. You know what I mean? And then they started trying to come closer, and I was like, ugh, ugh. like getting like really angry at him, like, oh, let's go, like, but like it was like an alpha male using your diaphragm and everything. And I hit the first one, knocked it cold. Next one, because you're on adrenaline. Next one, knock it cold, punch the wall, take its head, slam it into the wall. And what happened is I got to about 8, and this is the part that's gonna surprise people. I did this simulation of what happens if you slow down and you stop doing that. This is what scared the hell out of me. It wasn't the fact that you're fighting these white spikes like a great white shark and you're somehow conquering. It's the fact that like you'll start to see like in that simulation that some of them, because they're also animals and they start to back away, but why they're backing away is because they're afraid. So they have emotions. So what happens is that you start to see some like back away, but some are still trying. But then what happens is you start realizing when you start to back off how aggressive they really are by nature because you piss them off. So it's like the entire time you're like, you would have to keep going. With these white spikes, you would have to keep going, meaning like, let's say 12 of them are around you. Like it literally looks like the Hulk. But remember, you are still an alpha in like your manifestation, like you could say in your stance. So you're square. So the point is you do not want to be on the ground at all or it's done. And I saw the simulation of you being on the ground, and it's basically like you may have weakened the beginning things or whatever and made them afraid because they're squealing and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like there are a whole bunch of fresh white spikes that are coming through that door in like a beehive. So it's like the entire time you're fighting white spikes, it's like a beehive. But it doesn't mean that you're going to die. I want to make that very clear. You still have an opportunity, but you start to realize, I guess like it's like you got to go 12 rounds and you cannot show any fear or weakness because that's why they gang up on you. You know what I mean? So when I used the simulation, I saw myself on the ground, you know, thinking that, oh, you know what I mean? I could just pop up. If you let up at all, like all you have to do is like kind of be aggressive. If you let up at all, you're done. And you see that reality, and I don't want to describe it. It's embarrassing to see it. It's almost like you were so, whoa, I don't want to see that anymore. You know what I mean? And then there was then when after I saw that, I'm like, okay, so I'm done with that. I'm done with that reality. Now what I want to do is I want to simulate it for real. So you have an option to go outside of this building. So the reality is Metroid. So I'm like, I don't want to do this simulation anymore. I'm just going to be Metroid. So Metroid is a game, if you're not played it as a kid, I love that game. Metroid, I think it's on Xbox or something. I played it. And in Metroid reality, I just blew a hole in the wall very quickly before they even got there, and I flew up. The key is you have to fly out. And in this dream, it was a test flight. I flew out, and I went up to the air, and I did like a diving acrobatic feat. So if you've ever done a diving competition off a platform, that's the acrobatic stance or movement that I did to fight whatever was there. So again, the reason why I simulated this white spike thing is you never ask yourself these questions. Like, the church is insulting me. Like, you never ask these questions. Like, and the thing was, you do not have a fire extinguisher, and you do not have a fire extinguisher, and you do not have any. You just have to use your bare hands. You just have to use your bare hands. And I had this dream last night, and it didn't like put the fear of God into me, but it did show me like how wrong I am. Like, I care too much. Like I care too much in this, like, you know, when I say care too much, it's like I cared too much about what people thought about me to where all I had to do was prepare for something like that. You know what I mean? And so another example is if white spikes are in front of your store, what are you gonna do? You never ask this question. Whole bunch of them. What do you do? And here's the crazy, you have to do something. You have to. You can't sit there. You're gonna be like, oh, if they're like, you're gonna have to do something. So my point is, you might as well do the simulation right now. And you can't use a knife. You have to use your bare hands. You know, so in this situation, for me, it was just like, not that I'm like fighting the Kraken like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, but you have a clear option to fight these bad boys. You know what I mean? You have that option, bro. You are also an animal, bro. And the point was when they came in there, like, oh, they thought they were getting like some kind of, they thought it was a human, right? But you're making so much noise, they're like, whoa, what the flip's going on? You know what I mean? What the flip's going on? And that's why, like, when you do it, it's like they're coming in like one jumps, you punch it, grab by its tail or something, you make it, but the whole point is you have to kind of like scare them the entire time, like just like the Hulk. Like, you got to be like the Hulk. Even if they're on your back, even if they're all around you, doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna do anything. But sometimes it's like you got to show them your alpha, you know. But it just showed you have to do that the entire time. You have to do that the entire time. And this is, I don't know the exact. Let's say there was 50, but it's like all crowded in the hallways. What I'm saying, like, right, a couple of them come through the door first, but then you got that like swarm coming, like a beehive, you know. But it doesn't, in concept and theory, you can scare them off too. If you ever, you know what I mean? So like, I want to see what I would do, but that's my process. Peace out. Oh, and you do not play dead, my bad. That simulation does not work.